NFL
Yeah.
and talk about what we learned.
What did we learn, Joel?
Okay.
That the Titans are fake. They're fake tough. That's what I want to say.
Maybe. I mean, we've got a really good Thursday game. I think this Thursday game could well determine the AFC South winner.
Yeah.
And we've got the Colts at the Titans. The line favors the Titans by 1.5.
Right.
And
1.5.
Yeah.
I don't like that.
No.
Come on, nerds. Come on, stat nerds. Give me a better line than that. You know that the Titans might trounce the Colts, but I don't understand that. Everyone's being too safe with that.
But I don't know. The Colts, I think they kind of knew they weren't going to beat Baltimore. There was no aspiration to really move the ball. This is the kitchen sink game. This is where you're bringing out, like when a team's desperate to win like Dallas was yesterday, you see these innovative play calls. And like I loved that kick return play Dallas had.
That was pretty cool.
Where he threw it across the field and it was called back on some ticky-tack penalty like took 15 yards away from it.
Yeah.
That stunk. But I think I'm leaning Colts here. But from as far as this past week, I thought they played Baltimore pretty closely.
Pretty close, yeah. I mean, it was just those small little, just those small little instances of Phillip. But you can't just give them defensive touchdowns, the Ravens. And with the Titans there, I think their line is good, but everything else isn't that great. So this is a great Phillip. I am going to bounce back. But does Phillip drink like some sort of elixir to get back to Phillip Rivers? Because we saw that last week, and he was playing lights out.
I mean, given his demographic, he is the sort of person who would buy a literal snake oil, so he might be having that before the game.
He might have been out for a little bit.
Someone in a seersucker suit's gonna roll up outside the Rivers residence. He's gonna bring the calliope, and he's gonna have a whole show, and then he's gonna sell him that snake oil, and he'll be good to go at Thursday night.
We'll see. He's gonna need it.
Oh, yeah, 100%. I think silver water is what my dentist put in my tooth, actually. But this game, I thought the Titans, there were a lot of games on the early slate that were not as close as their scores.
Yeah.
And the Titans, they won by a touchdown. That game was never in doubt.
No.
The Bears' offense was...
Their offensive line is awful.
Their offensive line is awful. Their quarterback play is awful, and their whole system is predicated on wantonly throwing down the field. So that's a bad mixture right there.
Yeah, when I was watching that game, I just saw that it's just a combination of things. When you have a bad O-line, when you get exposed there, and then when you have a average quarterback that really needs a good line, it's just a calamity of just failure. And Nick Foles, he's not going to pull anything out of his hat. He's not going to slice the defense. He just needs 3 to 4 seconds, and then I'll throw it down, but it's not going to be great. But they had so many offensive penalties. It was just like, what? You guys keep shooting yourself in the foot, in the face. It's bad.
And when Nick Foles had his best performances of his career, who was the guy giving him the plays?
Oh, that the Eagles guy.
Frank Reich.
Yeah.
Current coach of the Colts. And I know Vrabel, like the football intelligentsia, they've taken him as like, he's the next great coach. He's got highlight reels put out after games. I think Reich's a better coach than Vrabel.
Yes.
I think the Colts are a complete team. If you put Matthew Stafford in for Phillip Rivers, this is a team that could win the Super Bowl.
They would have lost one game. Because Stafford can throw, and he gets... I feel bad for Stafford because the defense lets him down all the time.
Yeah. Do you want to jump ahead to Washington at Lions, our next game?
Oh, one sec. Wantonly, for you're saying for Nick Foles there in the chat. Someone says wantonly.
No, I've never met Wantonly. I've only been to Mexico once, and I didn't meet a single Italian guy down there.
Okay.
Wonton, but that's why I prefaced this show with the fact that it was going to be difficult for me to speak as my mouth is periodically filling with blood. And, you know, the Lee on the end, that wasn't a choice. That was me gurgling as the repercussions of trash talking, the Trump administration and the Packers to my dentist just curdled its way down my throat.
Yeah,
So,
okay.
I mean, if you do want to come correct my grammar, you're welcome to look at you're welcome to just sit down with me as I go to my graduate level courses every fucking night. But, you know, you can correct me. Yeah, Wonton Lee. I mean, that just sounds like a star from an Asian blaxploitation film.
Yeah, and he's one of my favorite actors. So, you know.
I see that for you. Who said that? Was that Jamoke?
No.
Jamoke's in trouble too. So I don't want to speak unclearly. I don't want to delve into the realm of hyperbole.
Yeah.
But I think the Lions' first half defensive performance yesterday was the worst play I've ever seen from a defense ever.
Yeah, and also the Vikings, when D Cook, he just makes that offensive go. He makes that offense just go, and he just got wrapped up in just not making tackles and letting this guy run free. So
Yeah, I
tough.
mean, Dalvin Cook's an incredible player. He was a little bit banged up, and I thought he would be the star for that team moving for this entire season.
Yeah.
And it took a while for their pieces to get in place. Justin Jefferson's producing. They had so many draft picks last year. It was going to take a while, especially with a limited preseason, for them to get up to speed. But the Lions have no excuse. I know they didn't have Trey Flowers, but I was watching that game. The first half was so frustrating because Stafford had 15 consecutive completions with no practice for an entire week.
That's incredible.
They had, I believe, 75% of the time of possession, and they weren't in the game whatsoever. If the Lions were to merely have just conceded a touchdown and an extra point to the Vikings every time they touched the ball, they would have given up one less point in the first half.
That tight end, no one knows how to cover tight ends on the Lions.
No one. We have Jamie Collins. He's a great player, but Jelani Tavai, second-round pick, useless.
Yeah.
Jared Davis, first-round pick, useless. And why does Patricia still have a job?
Because he sweet talked the Lions front office. Like, okay, no, I got it.
And of course, this week the Lions are going to win and they are going to cover because that's just how it goes.
Yeah.
They are the good, bad team. On certain weeks, they can beat up an inferior opponent. We've seen it versus Jacksonville. We've seen them have nice games against Arizona and Atlanta.
Yeah.
And Washington. I mean, they should be able to handle that with the quarterback situation.
Yeah, if the Washington football team wins, I can see Matt Patricia getting the boot after the game.
Yeah, 100%.
There's no reason you should lose that game.
I mean, there's no reason you should give up 27 points and a half to a divisional rival who you have more experience with than any other team in the entire league. That's egregious. Like divisional games, even if it's like Bengals at Steelers, you know the Bengals are going to keep it close because
Right.
they know each other so well.
Exactly.
And we have Everson Griffin from Minnesota telling us, oh, these are the plays they run. This is what they like to do. None of that matters at all. The front seven is the worst coached unit I have ever seen in my life. And the head coach is a guy who specializes in developing those positions.
It's not good.
Put a bullet in my head, Brian. Okay, we have Jaguars at Packers. What do we learn about the Jags?
Jake from State Farm is really good quarterback. He's not bad. He's a pretty good quarterback. I dig it.
He's good. The Texans' defense is pretty rough. The
Yeah.
tackling from Jacksonville, oh boy, they cannot wrap anybody up.
No, that's not their ding. But yeah, Jake Luton. I'm a Jake Luton fan now.
Well, you like every fringe quarterback. If I haven't heard of a quarterback, I know you've heard of them because they probably went to a MAC school and you might have their jersey.
I might have their jersey. Yeah, and they didn't look too bad, but they're just they're never going to compete like for the full complete team. So it's fun. They're a good team to watch, and I don't know. I don't think the Minshew madness is over. I think it's over.
I mean, if they're really rebuilding, couldn't you trade both these guys, or are there just too many quarterbacks available right now?
You wouldn't get anything from anyone.
I
Just
mean-
like draft pick wise, there's nothing there.
You don't think the Colts would be a better team with Minshew under center? Because he is kind of like, if he's modern day Phillip Rivers with
Yeah.
arm strength, like he
Okay.
does everything right. He doesn't make mistakes. And like the problem with the Colts and Rivers, it's not the overall offense. It's the 4 or 5 terrible plays per game.
Yeah.
It's the Russell Westbrook corollary.
Uh-huh.
You got to take away those 5 blemishes, and then everything you do so
Yeah.
well will just shine.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I like that, but I would do trade up, just do a swap with the 6th rounder and give me Jacoby off the Colts because they don't believe in him. So go to the Jags. You don't spend a 1st round draft pick on a QB, and you just develop your defense because that's what you need more than anything. Like you don't need a quarterback yet. Like you have a whole team that you need to revamp. So go that way.
Yeah, so I'm probably going to be on the Packers minus 14 next week. I
Love
think,
it.
Yeah, I mean that's a 30-10 game, I think.
Yeah, I can see that.
And then you got to love this. Buccaneers at Panthers. Buccaneers getting slightly less than a touchdown.
Okay.
I don't know what happened Sunday night. I'm pretty sure the Bucks aren't that bad.
Yeah, they're not that bad.
Pretty
It's
sure
just
the
Tom Brady.
Saints aren't that good.
Ooh, I don't know. I think that with Michael Thomas back, you get some more the defense just puts their eyes in different positions. So I think that might have been the issue. But Tom Brady was poo poo, so that was the big thing.
Yeah, he was terrible, and he had time to throw too. It's
Yeah.
not like the defense is what was really surprising because maybe a quarterback can have a bad game. I'm okay with that variance. But that linebacking core that I thought was a strength of the team didn't do anything.
No, I think with Antonio Brown, I'm just thinking they're like, oh yeah, we're gonna light this up. Maybe
Yeah.
he's gonna come out. He's gonna do 200 for 2 touches or some shit, and just really, I felt like that game would happen like that. Just like someone's gonna lay an egg, but I didn't know it was gonna be the Bucks.
Yeah, I was on the Bucks. I figured, you know what? Saints won the first one. Everyone's going to be on the Saints getting 4.5. The line moved down to 3.5.
Okay.
And I saw all that money on the Saints. They had the majority of the handles. So I was like, oh, Bucks take it.
Yeah.
I was wrong.
Yeah.
And did you watch? We both live with our girlfriends.
Yeah.
Did you watch the bubble with Nicole at all?
A little bit. I had it on, and she was like, "Are you done? Are you done watching?" Because I had to watch every game.
Every game.
Yeah.
And during the bubble, it was like you would overhear like, oh, they're talking about social justice or why certain protests or
Yeah.
individuals matter to the country at large.
Yeah.
And it was kind of an enlightening thing. And I felt good for like the woman you love to overhear that. And just like, yeah, this is a product I support.
Yeah.
And hearing Antonio Brown, just the backstory of him was the complete opposite of that yesterday.
Oh, it kind of did a reset. Just reset everything.
Yeah,
You just reset the router there.
That's the most she's paid attention to a sporting event.
Yeah.
And she's like, why is this guy playing? And I was like, Tom Brady thinks he's great.
Yeah. Tom says he can make him stronger and faster. And
Yeah, Tom vouched for him. Probably a first intriguing game. We have a meaningful NFC East matchup. Eagles favored by a field goal,
Ooh.
visiting the Giants.
I love it. The Giants are weird.
They're so weird. They've benched Golden Tate. Fuck you. I can't swear at the Giants, but I was wrong about their defense. They've been getting a lot better as the season's gone on.
They brought a lot of people from injury has finally came back, and they look okay.
But it's hard to take the Giants seriously when their head coach comes from special teams.
Oh yeah.
Like if it becomes a chess match between the two teams, I'm gonna expect Joe Judge to not know what chess is.
Exactly. He's like, I know. I just need a gunner, and that's it. It's bad. Joe Judge is
a special teams coach playing chess. He only uses the rooks.
Yeah, he doesn't know what he's doing. Oh my god.
That cracked me up. It wasn't funny at all, but
No,
I
it's
liked
good.
it.
No, it was a good chess. It was a good chess joke.
That one, I'm tempted to take Giants money line there at home. You say you hate the Eagles, but here you are. You're talking about how the Eagles are going to win the NFC.
They definitely are.
They are definitely going to win the NFC.
NFC East. No,
Oh, they're yeah,
definitely NFC.
yeah, they're probably winning the NFC East.
I think they have a chance now to win the NFC.
They're 3-4-1. Steelers are 8-0, and they have better odds of winning their division than the Steelers do.
Yeah.
That's
Insane.
I know.
tough times.
Tough times.
That's the real Pennsylvania recount.
We'll see. That Eagles game is going to be because we've seen what Carson does when he gets pressure in the face. It's not great. So if he gets lit up again, I think he might just quit halfway through.
And everyone piles on Wentz, but like maybe it's the expectation that everyone comes back from a torn ACL without losing a step.
Right.
Carson rushed back from that injury every step of the way. The line hasn't been good. And maybe just with the type of player he was, he'll never be able to reach that ceiling again post-injury.
Tis true, my friend. And
It's
it's no
deep.
good.
Yeah, Eagles at Giants, that's a big stay away for me. Next game I'll be throwing down on great tease candidate of the year. Bengals -7.5 at the Steelers. First of all, a lot of people texted me.
Yeah.
If Eric Ebron makes a big play, my phone blows up.
I bet because he's mostly a failure. So
Thought of you first when I saw that.
Look, when you think of Eric Ebron, you think of me first. I am the first name in the Eric Ebron business. And you know what? He made a great play, but I watched that game. I had Red Zone on my phone, walked the dog, got a coffee, visited some friends, and I heard Eric Ebron holding, Eric Ebron drop, Eric Ebron holding. And then, sure, he made a bad play, but there's a reason he's not number one on that depth chart.
true.
A lot of sloppiness. If somehow, there's a lot of bad plays on tight ends this year.
Yeah, and there's no. It's just Kelsey. It's just Kelsey. Well, no, the Dolphins' Mike Gesicki. He does what to do. He's one of my favorite fantasy football players.
Great. Yeah, tight end named Mike.
Gesicki.
Yeah, like he is a Bruce Springsteen album that turned into a person.
Isn't that what you want out of a tight end? A Bruce Springsteen album?
For a tight end, I just want no mistakes. And I just want solid play, good hands, and I probably prefer them as a blocker first.
No, not this year.
Not this year. Tight ends are running rampant all
Yeah.
over this league. And then Eric Ebron, if he's making plays,
The Moon's. There's something wrong with the Moon.
Yeah.
If Eric Ebron's making plays, I'm sorry.
I mean, he's a talented athlete, but some people they get a little nervous. They have
They get the
drops, they have
yips, you know.
holds.
Yeah.
And that's Eric Ebron. So I'm inclined to back. I know it's a divisional game, and I know that leads me to believe it's tight. And I know Joe Burrow covers every week.
He beat the Titans. You think
beat
he's
the-
going to be all like, oh, I can beat him again. I can beat the Steelers. You think he's going to do that? He does that in the mirror every day. He's like, oh, I'm going to beat them. That's what Joe does.
Yeah, but you don't think this game was enough to scare the Steelers, and we see the Steelers' best game this week?
Well, they got the scare from Dallas, so I bet it will. Mike Tomlin is probably yelling at him right now. They're like, you shouldn't have put up. Shouldn't let the Cowboys put up that much.
So I think Ben got injured. He has multiple knee injuries from last game. So I think the way to handle this is to wait for that injury to be decided. -7.5, don't touch it now.
Yeah.
I think they're going to win no matter who's the quarterback.
Yeah. That's the good thing about the Steelers. Their defense is so good, you can put anyone out there.
Yeah, so I'm going to wait, and I'm going to hopefully Ben will be ruled out, and I'm going to take him Sunday morning.
Okay.
Texans at Browns.
Woo!
We've got our line.
What do you got?
3.5. Browns
Oh,
favored.
Okay. Well, we got to see what Baker, because he was on the COVID list. So whenever he gets taken off, I will really hope Kevin makes the correct choice. If he can't practice for a couple days, we got to roll out Case Keenum. Just when you have a guy that hasn't been in this is his first year in Kevin Stefanski's system, to get rolled out and not be able to practice that week, I don't like it. I don't like it, Joel. I don't like it.
Not good at all. But the good news for you is that Houston is last in the league in rush defense.
Okay.
They give up 159 yards on the ground each week. And every week we talk about what line symbolizes a blowout. 3.5. That's Vegas's way of saying we think this is the better team. They can't do it. And it's also recency bias because the Browns played their last game in awful weather, against an awful team, Raiders, and they just couldn't move the ball. The winds were too harsh.
Yeah, and hopefully we get Nick Chubb back. So
Chubb's back. He's done.
He's coming.
He's there.
Yeah, I know he's practicing it, but he's got to just see how he has a good week of practice.
Yeah, and anytime you get your second best running back, I mean that's good for a team.
Second best.
I'm a Kareem Hunt man.
Oh boy. Yeah, that's weird. No one says that. No one says that on the Browns. Well, he's not. Nick Chubb's okay, but that Kareem Hunt dude, come on, man.
Nick Chubb, he don't even play receiver 40% of the time. And we do have the dreaded 3.5 lurking its ugly head again against my favorite Martian, Drew Lock. He's a weird looking guy.
He's a weird guy, but he knows how to sling.
I've been referencing the Drew Lock dance to everyone, and that's not a reference people get at all.
No,
they're
I
like,
have no
who's
idea.
Drew Lock?
Who is this man?
So I've been doing the dance for them. They're like, oh, okay. It's kind of like when a toddler shows you their performance when they know your parents' friends come over to their.
Right.
Oh, that's really good, Joel. You're in your mid-30s. How's that going? It's fine.
To the Drew. But yeah.
We need better gambling historians.
What do you mean?
Well, I figured watching Drew Lock play this year, I think he has a chance to go down as the NFL's all-time leader in backdoor covers.
They did put up some points in garbage time
He
pretty
puts up
quickly.
he's better at garbage time than the raccoon who lives outside my apartment. And
Shout out to Ralph, the raccoon.
and I tried to find who has the most backdoor covers of all time. You think that metric would be kept? It's nowhere.
No.
Like,
You need to make it. You need to look it up. You need to put the stats in for this.
I would imagine the current leader in backdoor covers is maybe Matthew Stafford because he's a second half guy. Maybe Drew Bledsoe could be in there as well.
Okay.
You want to?
think it's Brady?
Brady? No, because he's probably favored. Backdoor covers, because backdoor covers, you got to be a quarterback who throws it a lot on a bad team.
Not comebacks.
Backdoor covers. The comebacks that fall short. Who has the most of those? No stats are kept. And shouldn't there be some, we have stats on everything. We can't have the gambling metrics. We can't have Tom Brady's career record against the spread. We can't have the amount of the win-loss. That's good for parlays, but I really do think there is an arm for these big operations to keep gambling stats.
I like that stat.
Looking for a Walter Isaacson of gambling.
Absolutely.
Who's Walter?
It's not Walter?
No, who is Walter? I don't know who he
Isn't he
is.
the guy who wrote the Ben Franklin book and all the big historical biographies?
Oh.
I don't know if you're familiar with the comedic principle of yes and, but that was very much at play. I don't know who Walter Isaacson is. Yeah,
He sounds cool.
Yeah,
Walter.
he's
History right?
Yeah. He's done a lot.
Grad student like yourself would know that.
I'm learning maths.
I think he did a Stephen Jobs book too. Yeah. Wow. He's good. He's done a lot.
Yeah, we learned Johnson, great pass blocker. Okay. Chargers at Dolphins. Weird line on this one. Suspicious line in this one. Why are the Dolphins only favored by 2.5 in this game?
I think that line will go up, right? I think
Has to. I think it's kind of fun to bet on both these teams. I had a great time betting on the Dolphins yesterday, and oh my gosh,
What a game.
poor Xavier Howard.
Yeah.
That guy was playing amazing defense, and they called 3 ticky-tack pass interference calls against him. Totally unjustified.
No, when you were talking about the 4:00 reps, this was one of the showcase of just bad refereeing all day.
Yeah, and the Dolphins should have been in control of that game. Even the first touchdown after the intermission, the Miami defender clearly intercepts the ball.
Yep.
He establishes possession, and then the Cardinals player takes it as he's falling out of bounds. I thought that was a Dolphins pick.
That's a catch.
I thought none of those pass interference were pass interference, and like Brian Flores has to be coach of the year.
Maybe. We'll see. We got a couple more wins too.
It's Tomlin right now, but
You're not going to give it to Kevin Stefanski? Well, I'm not being a homer here. Like, he's turned around the team. If they beat the Texans, you got to give it to him.
no, because this is looking at the Browns roster. I see a 10-win roster.
Okay.
And this is the performance they should be putting in.
Yeah.
The Dolphins, they're similar to the Raiders where the talent level isn't extremely high, but you can just tell that they're bought in to an extreme degree. And with football, that makes such a difference.
I was hoping you wouldn't make a great point.
Like, I watch the Matt Patricia Lions every week, and a call goes against us. It crumbles. I saw call after call go against the Dolphins.
Yeah.
They had their resolve. They were steeled. I see a football team that's bought in, that's ready, and is extremely well coached. Everyone's playing up to the maximum of their talent level on that squad.
Yeah. Yeah, back-to-back weeks of just playing hard and just not quitting. And that's just coaching. That's just good coaching right there. Hands down. Hands down to Brian.
Yeah, how chart 2.5 on that game? They're It's in Miami. The LA's traveling, but it's still a 4:05 start time. There's no reason to put that game at 4:05 other than Justin Herbert. He only plays at 4:05.
Yeah, that's right. That's his slot. We told him. He told him this is your slot, boy. That's it. But yeah, that's going to be another fun game for Tua because the progression's there. So I mean, I'll give Brian the win if Tua just keeps developing as the week goes on.
Yeah, and they were like, "Oh, we're gonna evaluate Tua." They're thinking about that Houston pick. They're not picking a quarterback.
No, they're gonna get another. You go QB or D. You go D line, and then just call it a day. Just keep stacking that defense up. That's how you win.
Yeah, and we've seen everyone picked a receiver this last draft. I imagine the receiver needs aren't as widespread as they were last year.
I don't think you need it. Yeah.
And yeah, you're just going to have to build around him. So yeah, I'm going to be on the Dolphins on this one for sure. And did you have this with Tua? Every time he threw the ball, I thought it was going to be an interception.
It's the left hand mirage.
The left hand mirage.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Ooh, we're running over time. We started early and we're still going over. Let's go through this quickly. Bills at Cardinals. Cardinals -1.5. I think Kyler Murray could die on the field.
He's not going to die on the field.
He's so good at not getting hit when he runs through the tackles on like a QB draw.
Yeah.
When he goes outside, he gets smacked.
That's true.
He never dives. He's 5'8", and that's on the coach.
Well, yes. If he dies, he dies. Okay.
Yeah, that's the Cliff Kingsbury model. You got to protect him better. This game's got to be a stay away. Bills at Cardinals. I know the Bills looked amazing yesterday. I think this is a good line. It's probably a pick'em game. Just enjoy this one. Seahawks at Rams. Rams didn't play this week. Seahawks look terrible, so we're going to support the Seahawks next week. Easy.
Yeah, their defense was so awful. Like, I'm scared to even put them in that situation. And not having your full stable of running backs really kind of makes them like one-dimensional. And that's not Russ anymore. Like, he needs that running game.
Yeah, but you can't really evaluate the offense just because they were in a hole the entire time. Like, they were down 14 points by the
Pretty
time
quick.
kickoff landed.
Yeah. But you still run that ball, though. You still run that ball because, I mean, Russ can he pulls rabbits out of his helmet and his hat and his butt. He just knows how to win.
Yep, that's Russ. And then 49ers at Saints. This spread's too big. Saints 9.5.
Easy. That's easy.
Yeah,
money right
Niners
there.
will cover that. They're not as bad as they looked against Green Bay. They had so much chaos with the COVID, with the injuries, with a short week.
Yeah.
Thursday night games this week are so much. It's awful for these teams.
COVID sucks.
COVID sucks, but we got a vaccine.
Hey.
Well, we don't. I mean, we're going to be last in line because we're so young and healthy, but conceivably, we have a vaccine.
This is good. Good news.
Pfizer, thank you.
Thanks. Thank you.
And then Ravens at Patriots. Ravens all day.
Yep.
Touchdown spread. And then Vikings at Bears Monday night. Bears favored by, it opened at Bears favored by 1.5. That can't be the case anymore. No, Vikings favored by 2.5.
Ooh.
Bears money line.
Bears money line?
Yeah.
Okay. They're just, I don't know. Their offensive line. If they don't get healthy, by the week, bringing in some more, just people off the bench. I don't think so. I think the Vikings they cruise. They're cruising. They're Tom Cruise right now.
I'm with it. I agree with you every step of the way. Doesn't that seem a little too easy though?
It very seems too easy. Yeah.
Like with this spread. No?
Did the Bears not just lose to a team that's not as good as the Vikings?
That the Titans beat the Vikings when they played. I know that was earlier in the season, and that goes against my hypothesis of the Vikings improving, but divisional game, Monday night, home field.
Get that extra day. You get that extra day to kind of chill.
And the Bears, they have so much pressure on them to
They
deliver
need
their
this
best
game.
game.
They need this game.
Yeah, if they go from 5 and they were 5-1, right?
Yeah.
If they go from that to 5-4 with the Vikings just a game back in the division in the wild card race,
They could legit end up 6-10 and just that's the ball game.
and that's how talented that roster. That's a 6-10 roster. Great front seven, a couple great players in the secondary. One of the worst offenses you'll ever see in your life.
Yep.
So that's what we learned in Week 10. And who are we? We are the Props Network. The Props Network, they're the place where bets begin. No, the Props Network isn't a sports book. It's where smart bettors and new players go before the sports book. Why? Because the Props Network has a few things that all bettors need. Exclusive sign-up bonuses, reporting on weekly promos, free betting picks, and live odds comparison for every football game. A visit to thepropsnetwork.com before placing a bet guarantees that you'll be wagering with the best available bonus and getting the biggest possible payout when your bets hit. This week at the Props Network, you'll get $30 free bets, no deposit required from Unibet. 4 risk-free bets up to $1,000 at PointsBet with code BONUSPROPS, and up to $250 bonus credit when you make a new account at BetRivers. And, this Sunday you didn't want to bet Rivers. You can get all these deals and more at thepropsnetwork.com. Must be 21 or older to bet online. If you or someone you know have a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER today.